Great day, everyone. Happy Money Making Monday. Happy Money Making Monday. Well, I think I'm a little ashy this morning. Um, we're going live a little differently today. We didn't have our little cute intro already, and I'm in a different space too. I'm still in the house, but just in a different position in my house. I'm hoping Mercedes can make it today, but we are going to do a check in. It is October. We are into fourth quarter of 2024, and we're not going to take more than your 15 minutes today. However, we do we do just want to check in to see where you are, and if you are going to meet any deadlines that you may have set, or any goals that you may have set for the year of 2024, right? Like we always do, when we start this thing off, we start with a quote. Today I'm just going to quote myself. This is a quote that I am constantly telling my clients, that I'm constantly reminding myself, my family, my friends, and it is, you got to CEO this thing, right? You have got to CEO this thing. You have got to, or I'm going to say this because I do my best not to tell people what they got to do. So when I say you've got to and all that, it's just a figure of speech. But I definitely understand that your legacy, your lifestyle, right? You have the choice and the opportunity to position yourself however you see fit. However, when you CEO your life and your legacy and your business and what you expect out of life, it you put yourself in such a position intentionally. You place your what you value, what you want to accomplish on a priority list that the universe sees, and it complements, and you are definitely typically blessed accordingly, right? So when I say you've got a CEO, that thing, I am talking about, make being intentional with your scheduling, with planning, with writing things out. So many individuals have wonderful ideas, but they've never written anything out, so it's amazing how when you take the time to write your vision or your goals out, how you can then reverse engineer and see how you can actually bring that goal, to pass. You can manifest that. You can bring it to life. The one an amazing thing about the time that we're in, and quite frankly all times, because before there were light bulbs or cars, houses, someone was innovative and they saw that idea all the way through. They thought it out. They trialed and made attempts and got things wrong, and they got back on the project and the task at hand, and eventually we have the society that we live in today, right? So we can all do something similar, and we should. So the quote for today is from none other than your girl Quintaria herself, and it's, you've got to CEO this thing. Be intentional with your with what you say you want to do, and be professional about it. Quick story, since Mercedes hasn't hopped on yet, but quick story. I now sit on so many boards, and I do a lot of community work. I host town halls, like I'm truly like in these streets for y'all, like a community activist, a board member on so many levels. And I'm often complimented on how well I lead meetings, or I participate in board meetings, and just structuring things and putting things together and executing, large projects and collaborating with other individuals. But it didn't always start out that way on a business tip for me necessarily. 20 years ago, 15 years ago, my children were young. I was doing the the primary, because I don't like to say single mom, like their father was not involved at all, but like the kids live with me, so I had a lot of the day-to-day responsibility for the girls. But I would have to, if I had a board meeting scheduled, I would run my board meeting at the time with on my businesses that were me fi me, right? Like I would hold my board meeting and they may be in the corner playing Uno or quietly though. Like they had to be quiet. They know that, right? That's probably why they don't want to participate in many board meetings or anything now. But nonetheless, that's a whole nother podcast topic, right? But they would be playing with Barbie dolls in the corner. Sometimes they may sit at the table with me, depending on where I was. But if I still would book locations, I would be in community centers, in like the community room, and just imagine, like the size of a community room. Some of them weren't truly huge, but it's just me and my kids in there. But I held the meetings. I asked, went through the meeting notes. I reviewed the previous notes and all of that. And I say that to say that although it didn't look like 20 years down the road, it didn't look like what it looks like today, that building those skills, the intentionality that I had about, I have a board meeting. So if I have to do this board meeting alone, that is what I'm going to do. I CEO'd and I got the results that I desired over time. So in this check-in today, like I said, the quote is, you got to CEO this thing. Even when it's just you, you've got to be consistent. In a recent podcast that I was invited on, they were talking about like what is one of the most important things that entrepreneurs or just individuals who want to be intentional about living the life and the lifestyle that they desire, what's the most important thing that they can do. And one of the most, because it's a few things that's kind of fighting for number one, but is being consistent, is showing up for yourself and your business, even when it seems like no one else is, because boy, oh boy, I'm here to tell you, they are watching. People want to know that this new venture that you're into, this new idea, this new product, this new business that you're starting, or new to them. Because sometimes, honey, you can have been involved in something for a decade and somebody else just heard of it and they think it's new. And it's like, no, it's new to you, boo-boo. Like this is new to you, but it's new to them, right? They want to see how serious you are about it. They want to see, like, is this something that you truly gonna show up for day in and day out? So on this particular podcast that I was featured on, I was like, I learned not to beg people, not to drag, people, but to show up consistently with the information, the product, the service, the talent, whatever I am presenting to the world, and to show up consistently. And so, and I said a comment almost like, so I'm not going to wait for you. However, be at the stop tomorrow at noon, like I'll be back through because I'm consistent, because I keep showing up. Mercedes and I have said a whole lot that this is over 2 years of doing Money Making Mondays. And I am so excited, elated almost to say that, and just to think of where we started, where we came from, to the opportunities and just the positioning of this brand and our collaboration and our partnership today, So again, are you CEOing your life? Are you CEOing the businesses that you run or that you want to run? We're still in 2024 before the new year. Do you need to get yourself in order? Like, tax time will be here. I have found myself with many of my clients, we're preparing for tax season, for next year, by looking over what we agreed they were supposed to do at the top of the year, or different strategies or placements that they needed to do to reduce taxes or to reposition something, or if they have a new product or business that they'll be launching in 2025. So we're going back over those things now and looking to see, is there anything that you need to make sure that you have on the books before we go into 2025? Now, I know it's a lot happening right now. Again, I'm checking in on y'all today, right? I know it's a lot going on in the US. We have the election, we have all of this other, like so many things happening right now. God, prayers and all of that to families who are recently impacted by the hurricane and other natural disasters. And hell, even beyond just natural disasters, like many people in their personal lives are going through certain disasters or, just challenges or whatever. But with that being said, what can you do to make sure that you close out this year and you intentionally, you strategically, you CEO that thing, and you have your 2025, your whoever you plan to be in 2025, you make sure that everything that you need to do, that you physically can, that you possibly can, that you get it done this year, right? Even for myself, look, I'm gonna be all the way real. Mercedes ain't on to save me today, right? So all I can do is be all the way real with y'all, even though I'm always all the way real. But but I have a project, an app, right? We just gonna hold myself all the way accountable. And my team and I, and we've had valid reasons why we haven't been able to launch it. And, and things got pushed back and the budget was blown on it and all types of things. However, this year I've said, like the goal was to make sure it got out, like at the top of 2023. Then it was by the end of 2023. And for the past 2 weeks, y'all, I have been like, weekends, 2 a.m, every waking moment, I am checking in on this project because I said, Quintaria, you cannot and you will not go into 2025 without this project finally being completed. Whatever challenges or obstacles that you're running into, like you can't keep putting it on the back burner. You can't keep saying that. And I'm just gonna tell y'all my situation. I don't know how y'all roll. Y'all may have it much better than me, right? But when I'm making revenue in one area, my business and my lifestyle is positioned that it's different checks come in from different places, right? So sometimes it makes it easy for me for something that is an idea or that something that we want to bring to the marketplace that hasn't technically made money. For me, sometimes it is easy for me to say, like, to put that on the back burner, even though it's been tested. We know the ROIs on it. The ROI is going to be amazing and all of that. It's easy to put what you have not made revenue on immediately, or you have a past track record of making revenue on a project. It's easy to put that on the back burner, but I said, no, I'm not going to do that. We are going to get this finished this year. Even if my team has to fall, like I said, I've been spending extra hours and any waking time that I can on this or whatever, right? So I'm getting it done this year. Actually over this past weekend, there's a new item that we'll be launching, that the logo came in and I got the prototype, the finals on that over the weekend. So we're moving forward. And with that said, let me tell y'all this, right? So my youngest daughter is still home, right? And she saw me working this weekend and she's like, what are you working on? Like, because I technically have a 4-day work week, right? That was a goal that I had a couple years ago that I accomplished that or whatever. But anywho, before we wrap our 15 minutes up or whatever, but she saw me working over the weekend and she's like, what are you working on? And I was like, I'm trying to get, like the details for this app out. And she's like, app? Wasn't that something that you were supposed to be doing, a couple years ago or a while back or whatever? And I was like, I know, ain't that accountability a mother? And she wasn't saying it to be mean. She just was like thinking like, hold on, I remember like that app was a priority a while back. But that just gave me even more determination, y'all, to say that although I may not have finished it in the time before, although some deadlines, I have blown right through them and left that thing on the back burner. It is on the front of my to-do list now, and I am determined to get that done. So on this check-in on Money Making Mondays, I want to encourage someone who runs across this to know that it is not too late. It is not too late to look over what you said you were going to do. It is not too late to prioritize and get to, accomplish something. Like just pick one or two things on, on your to-do list for 2024, one or two goals that you said you were going to tackle or accomplish, even small things. It doesn't have to be, like any major goals, although I encourage you to seek out the major goals that you desire. But number one, make sure that you close this year out, that you CEO the remainder of 2024, and you put yourself, your family, your businesses, your legacy in position to win. My name is Quintaria Brunson. I'm the CEO of a strategy firm called the Brunson Approach, and it has been an honor to have another conversation with you. You all go and be great, and I am going to do the same.